The truth of the matter is, I got to a place, even though I was in prison, I wasn't going to wait till tomorrow or next semester or next year or whenever I got released to begin my change. Right now, in the middle of my external uncomfortability, I was going to make a stand, and I realized hard work works. Make good choices, good things happen. There's never a wrong time to do what's right. Hard work and good choices will always create opportunities for your dreams, your plans, the things you've thrown against the wall to begin to be activated. I was in prison. My external situation seemed pretty difficult. It was uncomfortable. But in the moment, I was staying active of talking and communicating and making choices. I slowed life down. Listen, is this decision to treat somebody this way or that way? To do my job or my responsibility or my chore or my homework? Am I going to do it or not do it? And I balanced everything through this lens. Is this bringing what I threw against the wall closer, or is this pushing it farther away? Hard work works. Make the next right choice. It gets closer and closer. And hard work and good choices will create opportunities in the middle of your chaos, in the middle of your storm. For me, I didn't serve 15 years because I would still be incarcerated until 2024. I've actually been released and been walking and living life and doing this since 2013. See, I got released 11 and a half years early. What happened is I found the courage in the middle of an uncomfortable situation in a storm that seemed hopeless, to be honest, to not be afraid to face the thing that I was the most afraid of, which was me. And I began to be not afraid of feeling at times uncomfortable and being transparent and honest with my emotions with not just me, but with the people around me. And I got to the place of understanding that conversations and communication ignites the thing inside of me called resiliency and problem solving. And even though my storm was crazy, I slowed down my life and said, this choice to be responsible or to be respectful or just to do whatever I know I'm supposed to do in my story. You all have your own unique rhythms and daily habits and things that you need to achieve and the things that you need to accomplish so that you look in the mirror and you feel like, yes, I can. In the middle of your storm, I slowed down. I started making the next right choice. Opportunities opened up. I started leaving the prison in street clothes a year and a half into my sentence and started traveling all across the state of Indiana, going into Division I colleges, into high schools, to conferences, really anywhere they would let me go with my man bun, I went. The governor of Indiana got wind about it, and 3.5 years into my sentence, his counsel wrote a letter that this young man's more effective out there than he is in here. And I walked out of the prison 11.5 years early. Why? Because I promise you, transparency and accountability, using the people around you, but then also realizing that we've got skin in the game, which is called action, which is called choices and decisions, and doing our best to do the next right thing and treat people the way that we want to be treated. Doors and opportunities will always open in the middle of your storm. As a generation of 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds, that as you're navigating your world, as you're navigating this society on this side of a technological advancement, on this side of what the COVID experience did to some of us, on this side of an ever-changing world through different lenses and different people and different thoughts, as we're growing and as we're expanding our minds and as the world is getting, it seems to be, more interconnected because of technology, and as everything continues to fight for your energy and your time and your place and your space, I'm telling you right now, in some of these years, as a young adult, as a young human being, if you cannot jump in to the vicious cycle, into the vicious circle of the rat race, of where it's only about point A to point B, where it's only about me, me, me. But if you can begin to create habits that when you walk into a room, yep, you need to execute what you should do to be effective and proficient and be responsible in the choices. But a part of that formula, the ingredient, has to also be, when I walk into the room, I lock eyes with people, I look at people, even if I don't always agree with people, but everyone knows that my heart is Alin Wusalin. My earth is your earth. You are welcome here. And I care what you have to say. And I care what your experiences have been. And I care about your journey. Because truthfully, the world's gonna say that you don't have time to live a life interrupted. Society's gonna say it's dog eat dog, it's a fight to the top. Society's gonna say, at the end of the day, it's you versus the world. But truthfully, there are realities of the choices that you have to make. You're in control of your story. I believe that you've got to take ownership of your life. You need to work hard. But a part of what society needs to say is also, at the end of the day, when you learn to add value to the people around you, it's what you give away is what you get to keep. And if you can begin to live a life interrupted and to realize that you have a whole lot more time and a whole lot more opportunities and a whole lot more ability to literally not just be so focused about me, but about us and about together and what we're doing. If you struggle with trusting people in here, you'll probably be like, I just don't feel like I can. Listen, feelings aren't how you trust, because feelings aren't always final. What I mean by that, I was a heavier kid and I had low self-esteem and low self-worth. And so as I went through middle school and high school, I always thought people were clowning on me or making fun of me. And so there were times that I would walk by you and I would hear you two laughing. And I just knew that I knew that you were talking about me. And I was hurt and I was angry and I was pain, and the pain that I felt, the feeling was real, the feeling was authentic. But when I began to confront you or to talk to you about the conversation, and I began to realize it had nothing to do with me at all, my feelings weren't based in facts. You don't trust people based on feelings. You trust people based on time. Those mentors, those coaches, those people, those peers that consistently over time support you, believe in you. They don't always tell you what you want to hear, but they'll tell you what you need to hear. Sometimes those people you'll disagree with. You can even have knockdown fights and arguments and fallouts with. But when you strip it all down and you look in the mirror, there's people in your life that you know just want to see you win. And so I had this heart full of gratitude, right? And at 10 years old, I walk onto this court with my dad, and I'm excited, I'm giddy, man. And like, I'm getting ready to play ball, and my dad's trying to tell me, and I'm like, I know, dude, give me the rock. And I get it as a 10-year-old, playing my father, and I go to shoot it. True story. I remember, it's burned into my head. I shoot it, my dad goes, yak, and he laced the ball off my face. And I was like, dying. And I picked up the ball again and I shoot it. My dad, yeah. For 2 hours, this dude beat the brakes off me. I'm 10, you're a grown man. I was confused. I walked off the court leaking snot and leaking tears on absolute meltdown mode. And I heard this voice from the back, and it was my mama. And she said, Tim, why wouldn't you let your son make one bucket? And still to this day, I remember what my daddy said to me. He looked at my mama and he looked at me and he said, listen. His tone was compassionate, but it was serious. He said, listen, my son needs to understand something now at a young age. It doesn't matter what he has or what he doesn't have, where he comes from or where he doesn't come from. He needs to know inside of him, he has the ability to see a problem and identify the problem. It's not about making goals on a basketball court. It's him knowing that he has the ability in life to identify the thing keeping him from where he's going and to get around it. Giving up won't be in his mouth.